Hello, YouTube. I'm going to continue with doing some recordings with Halls of Torment for a little while. Figure maybe I'll just cover each class once. So I've covered the Sage, and I've covered the Landsknecht, and I am going to cover the Exterminator today. Exterminator is probably my favorite class. I like burning everything. So some notes about this character class. This is how I'm currently set up. We've got some Berserker boots. I haven't really used these too much, so I don't know how strong they are. And then Firewalker boots can be good too, because you already have a bunch of burn skill bonuses on this class. You can increase your burn damage, and then they just give base movement speed, so helpful for getting out of situations. Blazing Shell, again, more burn damage. Makes use of your pickup range. If you want to go for something like that, you could go pick up gloves. These. But you already have, I think, 80% from the blessings, so it's not 100% from the blessings. So if you really wanted to make use of this range, go those. So I am running the Mark of the Sword, although I could run Mark of the Incineration. This gives you all the swordsman abilities, which I believe has some area bonuses, regen bonuses, that kind of stuff to kind of give the swordsman, normally the swordsman, some area effect, since he has a very short cone attack, that giving that to him makes him able to hit a large group of enemies at once. So I could run this for a 15% chance to burn enemies. This 15% chance, if you were using the Mark of Incineration, or if you were using this Ring of Fire, these are secondary procs. In other words, they're a secondary chance, which are completely independent and can double roll. So the Exterminator's base weapon has, I believe, a 20% chance to burn, and this gives an extra 15% for a second chance to burn. Sparking tips do work with the Exterminator. I believe I've tested this before a couple times. It does increase your burn chance on everything, and then also gives you extra burn on physical damage. This does require a different class or some very specific abilities like Dragon's Breath. With one of the upgrades for Dragon's Breath, it counts as a physical attack. So this helps your burn chance significantly. This is not a secondary roll, this is a global effect. But you do need something to trigger it for the Exterminator. You could start with the ring blades or the spread fire little projectiles, rapid shots. But otherwise, your attack is fire, so it won't trigger the actual effect on this. You'll still get the burn chance. You just won't trigger the effect. So I am going to go Mark of the Sword, and we've got Guiding Star. So while standing still and attacking, you'll have 30% movements or 30% attack speed. While attacking and moving, you'll have 10% of both. So can be pretty useful. It's still more than you're generally going to get for attack speed or movement speed on anything other than like boots or gloves. So marginal gains, but still very powerful gains. And then I still prefer multi-strike over the attack speed gloves. There's a lot of attack speed in the game already. There's not a lot of multi-strike. The blessings already give you 20% attack speed and 20% multi-strike. You're looking at 50% attack speed or 40% multi-strike. But you're not going to be able to get as much multi-strike in the actual round. And multi-strike might be better on someone like the Archer or the Sorceress, who already have multiple projectiles. But I find it fun for the Exterminator because, again, it's just kind of that stacking value. attack speed and multi-strike stack better than just stacking pure attack speed or pure multi-strike. So let's go ahead and do this run. Make sure I have what I want here. I'm still running Mask of Madness. And a note here, I've been doing some testing. So per some forums and wiki posts, burn damage cannot be increased or sped up in any way from the force stat. So force increases the chance of your projectiles to pierce or multi-strike in certain circumstances, but they do not increase or decrease the duration for burn damage specifically. And then I've done some testing on the Iron Ring. It does not increase the damage of burn damage. I kind of wish that was true. It feels like it should be since it's base damage. But from all my testing real quick done in about 10 minutes or so of just doing a few different runs real quick, it seems that the difference between the damages with the Iron Ring on and Iron Ring off are insignificant. In fact, even potentially just purely random. So disappointing. Iron Ring doesn't affect burn damage, but I select a different class and hover here. You can see that this character, the Flamecaster itself, only does 32 damage. So the 10 bonus damage is still very significant. So we'll do Chambers and we'll do Agony. Maybe this means that the video will be shorter that way. Just going to go ahead and go Dragon's Breath anyway. Dragon's Breath is fun. More burn damage. My favorite upgrade for Dragon's Breath is the very narrow Dragonfire stream effect. And then if you can get the knockback effect on the same, then you have these streams just going everywhere. And simultaneously, it pushes everything. Somewhat randomly at times, but makes it so you can kind of stand still more often because you're just pushing things away from you. If you have enough multi-strike or attack speed, it's just a constant stream of fire in different directions, usually mostly in front of you. So here we go, attack speed multi-strike. This is from the Warrior. This burn chance is something I might want. So I am going to grab that and grab this. Save that and grab that. So something to note, I do typically run the Scars of Toil, so the extra base health here is absolutely massive. This character can make use of it quite well. Where a lot of other characters, they only get, say, 50 health, maybe a single boost of 70, I think is what the Warrior was getting there, if I chose the Warrior talent. Waited around for it, at least. I am not finding what I want here. Taking early points into things like Dragon's Breath will allow you to upgrade them sooner, it seems. I haven't read anything on that, I've just experienced it, so could be wrong on that. But it seems like just having, I think, 3 levels, or 3 traits, I guess, into a given ability allows you to get secondary abilities when you pick up a scroll. That's the one I want. I'm actually going to double it. Dragon's Breath also does quite a bit of burn damage, and depending on how you select your talents on that, you can either go more just constant fire damage or more actual burn chance. Burn does have a maximum stacks of 20, after which it just starts doing direct damage. There's actually, I think, a challenge for doing multi-million damage through fire direct. Burn over-procking into direct damage, I mean. There's another one, I think, for crits as well. I think that's a newer one, where that's not what I'm trying to touch. There we go. I'm not going to pick that up quite yet. Normally I intentionally take some damage to get my amulet working. This zone is, in my opinion, quite a bit more difficult than a lot of the other zones. Enemies just have a lot more health and move in weird ways. So I am avoiding damage here. I still have a 16% bonus on my thing here. I've also got Berserker Boots, getting some attack speed based on my main weapon there. So Force would help my weapon Pierce. Force and damage, range and damage. Just gonna take the range and damage and move on. Dragon's Fire automatically pierces. I don't think it has any restrictions on force. Dragon's Fire is kind of a pseudo melee attack, where it just pierces everything. Which I think is probably also why it has the... let's see here. Burn chance still. Which is probably why it can turn into a physical attack, as well as be used more as a knockback effect. Probably that's just kind of a inherent goal, that it's basically just a pseudo melee attack. I do have opacity to like 30 or 40% here, so it's probably harder to see, but there is little flame waves going on there. That's the Dragon's Breath going off. It does go off in the direction you're facing, so it is one of the more positional abilities. Whereas in Lightning Strikes or some other abilities will just target whatever they want. If you're not able to kill enemies right away and you're getting mobbed, a little extra range and a little extra force for piercing can be very handy to just kind of tone down size of the mobs over time. Obviously damage will just kill them, but if 10% damage isn't gonna kill them, then 10% range might be better in those circumstances. So you can see I'm getting a lot of burn damage on these enemies as they kind of surround me. Not much. but it is something. But yeah, that can help slowly whittle down enemies from a distance, keep them off your back. The Flamecaster, I believe, only has a very minimal cone angle, so much like the Sorceress, your area is going to be benefited from. Your cone angle is not going to be benefited from area very well, but other abilities may be affected, like the Dragon's Breath for me here. And the actual size of the flames might be benefited, but the angle isn't going to be very big from base. You can see my character is mostly just shooting lots of little tiny streams in front of him. Crit's not going to be very good on this character class. It might be good for the abilities, but it's not going to be super great for the actual base damage. Character has very low crit bonuses as far as I'm aware. Crit chance 0, crit bonus 30, so it's still something. You're still going to want to pick it up eventually, but it's not going to be significant early on. Maybe an early 5% crit might help you just get through the first few minutes or so, but you're probably going to be better off just taking pure damage or multi-strike or something like that instead anyway. And your gear is going to matter too. I'm benefited right now from these Berserker boots. I'm getting 11% attack speed. That attack speed is only on my main weapon though. So where my ring is actually giving me 10% while I'm moving. More multi-strike and range. Got quite a bit of burn chance, so I'm just going to take this without doing any potions. These cube jellies are really neat and really obnoxious. They just kind of move in weird patterns, kind of forward and back around you. They're not really trying to attack you directly. I want that movement speed probably instead of the other thing. I'll wait that out. They're just kind of trying to move around you instead of through you a lot of the time. They will eventually hit you. Most enemies will eventually walk into you, but many of them will take their time to do so. Some of them will charge you, like these guys will just kind of run up and hit you, of course, and there's some trident users in this area that just run at you really fast. I don't know. I do just like the AI in general. It's very simple, very creative for how simple it is. I'm running a little bit low on health. Get a lot of damage out of that, but I want to be careful. Movement speed. Yeah, that's what I wanted. The movement speed is good for my boots. There was a health option there I could have waited out or used a memory potion for. I will say movement speed on this level is pretty much mandatory. So some early movement speed will just keep you alive, whether it be on your boots or from talents. And I'm going pretty fast anyway, right now. Got more area and attack speed. Area is not going to affect my weapon that much. Attack speed is going to be pretty good for everything. But yeah, even that move right there with the orbs being thrown out at you. It has that little telegraph on the ground, or less of a telegraph and more of a just, hey, this is going to happen. This main weapon, this is fire only. So I could do some different things there. I don't think it matters too much to me at this point. Little mechanical spiders are also interesting, of course. They typically do not try to touch you. They just kind of weave around you. Kind of similar to the cubes. They also explode on kill. Oh, I guess the cubes do too. That's a theme in this room, this region. So standing still can be pretty dangerous in this area. There's the little trident dudes. Base health. I'm hovering around 37, 40% damage bonus from just that amulet. I think that amulet is absolutely amazing, but I'm not seeing a lot of people run it, I guess, in posts that I've read. Maybe I'm just reading the wrong people's posts. It also has diminishing returns with the amount of damage that you can get from everything else. So it could be that it's not as good as I think it is. I haven't done the math on that yet. I know one of the amulets is experience, and I know a lot of people were running that as this game is still in development. They nerfed that item. The ring I'm wearing also used to be a little bit stronger, and it was nerfed too. But yeah, the amulet gives, I believe, 60% bonus experience, and it reduces by, take a little bit of crit chance there. Reduces by 1% per level up, and it doesn't matter if you've worn the item, it only matters if you are that level. So. Probably about time to actually pick up one of these scrolls. There's a base health, there's a base health, there's another base health. So for me, I'd probably want this one. I can find it. Burn chance is good. I'm going to go Sweets of Feet, not waste any more potions. See if we get... Yeah, so Heat Blast, here we go. Things get knocked back when they get hit by this now. A burn chance, there's another one in there that's burn damage. The burn does get all your normal damage bonuses. It just doesn't get Iron Ring. So, disappointing. If it did get Iron Ring, that would be a 30%, 33% damage boost or so, as it does 30 damage per half second per burn stack. So it would be pretty strong, actually, but it is disappointing that does literally nothing for you. There's a lot of weapons that actually ignore certain talents or stats, but a lot of those actually get the talent wrapped up in a different way. So it might be like this ignores... Ooh, I've never used Spectral Fists yet. Let's just go all fire. I was hoping for the Dragon Breath stream modifier, but might need like level 6 talents for that. Not sure how good the knockback really is on the Dragon's Breath. It's cute. But knockback on melee attacks is going to be significantly stronger. That health thing I still haven't gotten. Movement speed. I want the other one. Oh, we're going to get a ton of levels here. The Dragon's Breath base damage. I like that they tell you that this is base damage, but I have no idea how much base damage Dragon Breath does. That doesn't really help me actually understand the value of that talent. It might be nice to show, you know, with maybe an alt click, holding alt or control or something, the base damage or some extra stats to help you make a decision. Again, base damage, I don't know what Meteor Strike does. My guess is it's probably 200 or 300. I can see it in here. You can go into your traits and abilities down here and look through stuff. So 250 base damage. So the plus 50 is still a good amount of damage. I am going to... Well, I am actually wearing the Blazing Shell that scales with pickup. I normally banish the pickup. Damage type affinities like fire and lightning, I believe, only have 3 levels. I think multi-strike is the same way. I think there's only 3 levels of multi-strike once you unlock them. I'm a big fan of just getting rid of stuff in the pool. You can. I don't use my Potions of Oblivion that much because I'd rather just level up and take everything. But like, you can use Potion Ability on this or Block Strength or whatever. Just get stuff out of the pool. You're going to have a higher chance because you're eliminating options. As far as I can tell, everything is pretty equal, because I don't think the pool is weighted. But the lower level stuff, I'll point this out on the next level up here. The lower level stuff is going to just be in the pool constantly. Go Flame Strike. So Flame Strike is... Changing subject here. Flame Strike is really good in melee range. It just hits enemies like constantly if it's in melee range, but it doesn't do crazy good damage unless it charges up. So you can see that it's charged up. If I walk into something, it'll do some like 1,000 damage or something. Okay, that wasn't very useful. But yeah, Flame Strike can be really good on the warrior or other classes that get up in people's faces. I mean, it's good here too. There's some different things that can change the attack speed, some specialty traits for that. So you can make it more of a constant effect, or you can make it more of a ultra super crit kind of effect. But yeah, its charge up time is pretty slow. Got base damage, burn damage. We'll grab that. I'll still wait out for this. Yeah. That's what I was looking for, that extra health. I've got 1,000 health now. So we've got Fire Affinity 3. There's no more of these, so I can just eliminate that from the pool by taking it. I don't have to see it again. And it's not going to hurt me by taking it by any means. Kind of cornered here. That burn damage. I'm going to roll for it. There it is. Oh, that's not what I want. Only 30%. I mean, it's not terrible, but I'm not going to use it. Doubles the value. I'm not going to double the value. Thought it was plus 30. Wasn't seeing that percentage sign. I don't have the talents memorized. I don't play this game every day. But I do enjoy it just for some downtime here and there. And it's easy to record. Probably would make a better stream than a recording, but probably be streaming at weird hours at all times if I was a streamer. I'm here more to talk about mechanics or just kind of advice, cool effects, than I am to talk about any specific other subject, I guess. I don't know. If you're not familiar with this channel, I do some side work as a game dev, very as needed kind of stuff for a small company, and it would be a bit of a dream to kind of do that as my full-time job, but if you know anything about game dev, it's not very monetarily rewarding sometimes. Easy to make half or less working for a company in game dev than it is for working in any other kind of dev. Ooh, that could be fun. Let's see here. 20% chance to burn enemies. Might end the run. Taking my health away real quick. This now. These runs are pretty long. I know some people have talked on Steam and elsewhere about, you know, developers giving us options for faster runs. That kind of might be nice. I don't know how that would play out. Would you get less experience? Would you get more? I think as a developer of any software, something to be considerate of as a user experience is the amount of time that it takes to do something at any given point in the process. It's a lot harder to make that decision, I think, with video games because you're not looking at just the efficiency of doing something. You're trying to talk about, like, hey, this is entertainment. How fast should you be entertained? There we go. Stream of Fire. That's what I'm looking for. There it is. It will occasionally knock things back. Well, I have that other upgrade. This is the charge duration. The time of the maximum strength is reduced here. You can take this over and over to get that charge duration up so that you're looking for maybe like a 1 or 2 second charge instead of like a 5 second charge. The attack speed will just be how often it triggers. Charge multiplier will be just how much damage it does, basically. So I am probably just going to go for attack speed. I'm not looking for it to be charged up. I'm just kind of walking into things, and as they get close, they just kind of die. If something gets too close, then if it's charged up, that's great. Well, pretty much one-shot things if that was like 8,000 damage there that just did. And I am not going a very heavy crit build right now, so the charge up can crit. It is a separate multiplier. So getting lots of crit damage and then getting charge up on the flame strike, flame strike. You can just hit huge numbers on that. My regular attack is hitting like, what am I hitting? 150, 1200, something like that. Nothing crazy. Meteor's hitting some crits in there. The red is crits, the yellow or orange is just burn damage. Colored numbers there. We're hitting 9 minutes left. We're actually doing okay. You have this character kind of tricked out, so not surprising too much. So yeah, I'm going to take more crit damage, more regular damage on the flame strike. Oh. Can be useful to actually aim your weapon once in a while. I don't do that often. So I'm not going on burn chance on this too much, but because I like the area and the multi-strike. But the area is, I think, useless with the stream, so burn damage suddenly becomes more valuable. I don't know if any ability exists like this, but it might be kind of neat if there was a kind of a sadist kind of style play where triggering an on-hit effect like Fragile or Affliction or Burn gave you some kind of buff temporarily. That would be... I like trigger effect type stuff like that. Make it last, I don't know, 5 seconds or something. Make it heal you for some amount, or give you bonus damage or movement speed for some amount. Attack speed, damage. Attack speed's probably better, so I'll grab something different. Okay, so we grabbed this earlier and we went from 250 to 300 for base damage on Meteor Strike. Still probably better than most damage bonuses. There's attack speed on that. I feel like it's rarely talked about, or maybe it's just not talked about because people understand it. I don't know. But, excuse me, I'm getting a little hoarse. But in games like this, or MMOs, or MOBAs, or whatnot, taking the attack speed and the damage, mixing and matching like that, you're going to get multiplicative effects. So if you're going to get 100 attack speed and 100% damage, you'll have more total DPS output than if you took 200 damage percentage. And so, while it's just a natural effect of taking basically everything as you level up here, it's still smart to mix and match a little bit. On purpose, I mean. I don't even know what this is. I think I unlocked this recently with playing with the Sage, and I'm guessing that this counts as a melee. Means that I have a melee attack somewhere. Interesting. I don't... Okay, so it goes both ways. I'm guessing that's supposed to be like B. Both of those are pretty boring. Well, not boring, but... Let's go see. I need to see if this is counted as a melee ability somehow. Doesn't say. It's probably only on the pickup that it'll say. This game being so heavily stats oriented and numbers oriented, if you really want them, I feel like more pop-ups need to show you kind of what you're doing. Like Flame Strike probably is melee, but it doesn't say it is. It might be nice to have options to see that after the fact, or like I said earlier, if something's giving me base damage or base attack speed or some kind of multiplier, it might be nice to see what the base is or where I'm currently at, because you can't go to this screen when you're picking a talent. Those spinning orbs are a little bit hard to get out of. I typically try to move at a diagonal to get out of them, but I still fail a lot of the time. There's a lot of abilities I haven't picked up. I haven't been paying attention to them. So let's go pick up a bunch of these. Yeah, walked right through the orb there. Not useful. That's unique. I've never seen Spectral Fist, so I'm just going to take it. But just a giant fist. Okay. Not affected by attack speed or multi-strike. I do believe it is a summon. The Spectral Fist is not the other one of these, but we'll have to level up the Spectral Fists here real quick. We want to get anything new. Power up. Does that do damage? Yeah, 100% damage. I do wish power-ups were multiplicative instead of additive. They're still strong. It just would be nice that they maintain their strength a little bit differently. They were multiplicative that way. Wow, 2 greens into no greens. None of these are interesting to me. I'm out of rerolls. Maximum rerolls for that screen is 3. Their damage power up. There's a glove. Got all my pickups. I want the other one of those. I really care? I don't think I really care. Get rid of it. Dragon's Breath, more range and damage. Attack speed. Elemental Surge Fire would be nice. That would turn my fists into fire, but not super important. Here we go, crit damage. You get some crazy bonuses on the Flame Strike later on. Base damage on that. There we go. Now those fists have a 10% chance to burn. So I don't know what Force does here. Most likely this is just knockback. Take the generic there. Bonus damage. Summons. More bonus damage on summons. Level 90, basically everything that's left is just what I didn't take. I think my highest level I've ever been is like 115. And you can actually run out of talents at that point to pick from. Either because you banish them or just have them all at that point. Depending on how many of these you have too. Abilities have only so many talents. See that my Mask of Madness here is going to be 95% of something total. That's a mix of multi-strike, attack speed, damage, but quite a bit of something. So at this point, I'm just going to take the experience. I was trying to go for a pure fire build. I'm just going to keep going with that. I think I need another upgrade or two for the Spectral Fists to get the upgrade. I may have not even unlocked the upgrades for Spectral Fists, I guess, too. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, so you typically have to do damage with the abilities to unlock their upgrades. And I have not used Spectral Fists before, so I don't have those upgrades. Getting pretty tight, I'm getting pinned in this corner here. I've got plenty of health, and I can just walk through things. And 50% experience at this point in the run can be quite handy if you just don't care. I think it's probably stronger to take it from an item box than it is from an ability. But if you're looking for specific abilities, I'm not really right now. I just don't care. But you're limited on the number of abilities you can actually pick up. At which point, picking up the ability scrolls will start giving you, I think, like a bonus of health or something. A heal, basically. Not max health, that would be probably really strong. Just a heal, like 50% of your max health or something. I want that damage, but I'm not getting it. There it is. Perfect. And my last reroll too. I may also need to use Spectral Fist specifically on the Sage to actually unlock the secondary abilities. I would assume that by now it's done some damage. See here. Not great damage. Okay. Well, we've got the Lord of the Level boss here. Where all these pickups are. I think this is the really far away pickup. I'm not going to chase that down. But I would like to get these other pickups. He decided to just not move. Do crit bonus, I guess. If we can get up close to this guy, we can do some serious damage probably with Flame Strike. Is hard to get up on, unless you have some pretty good block. One of the next classes I'll probably do, thinking about it, is the Shield Maiden. I don't know, let's just do Force. I don't even know what I need at this point, I'm just trying to pick something. The Shield Maiden is able to be built focused on their shield or their actual weapon, but their shield deals damage based on their block, and they get block both from leveling up and from their talents that they pick. So, quite a fun class. I think a lot of the classes are quite fun, but I just love the alternative playstyles that are just available there. So I'll probably, when I run that, that'll probably be posted on Thursday if I can get it done. I'm a little bit tight for time this week for any form of game playing or recording. But yeah, the Shield Maiden, you can run like a block armor, block-oriented build. I think there's boots that give you block while you're standing still or moving or something. And then there's a cape that while you're standing in a shadow, you get extra block. There's Defiant Plate, which I believe gives you regen and block chance as you get hit. So the more you get hit, the stronger you become temporarily. And then there's Spike Boots, which drop little mines on the ground. I think they added a cooldown to that. I think previously it didn't have a cooldown or it was much shorter. But it drops 10 spikes, and the spikes do like 100 base damage. And it happens every time that it's off cooldown, and that you take hits. So if you're able to just tank hits, you just walk through stuff, and in dangerous situations, you can just walk into the boss kind of thing on that class or with that build. Walk into the class. There's gloves that give, I think it's Fencer's gloves that give 10 block. Not sure if it's the same gloves or another pair of gloves that give I'm just gonna stand still next to this dude. No? Okay. He's got a lot more health than just standing still next to him is gonna do anything to. I'll just have to wait it out. I do think maybe the Lords have a little too much health, but I'm also doing a build that just doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so it could just be my own fault there. There it is. Agony 5 Exterminator on the new level. I wasn't actually sure whether or not I'd win there, so is what it is. No completed quests, very little gold. I mean, I do think that gold is maybe a little low in general, or that items are maybe a little too expensive. Because it means like a perfect run right there of the 5th level is only 9,000 gold. So like I can buy one of these more expensive items or some of these lesser expensive items. 6,000, 8,000, whatever. I don't know. Just for balance of it all, I feel like there's just items are maybe too expensive, and these are probably pretty fair. I undid one of those revives to buy some items, but these are pretty fair. If I wanted to go electrify damage, that last one is super expensive, and you can choose whether or not to get an item versus that. But yeah, the actual items themselves feel a little too high maybe. I can understand this one being 10,000, basically a revive if you're struggling, but when you have free revive for 5,000 here, 25,000 is the second one, and this also takes an item slot. I don't know. So like if this was 5,000 or 6,000, maybe it was be more fair. I don't know what use you'd have of this unless you're intentionally walking through enemies and just dying. But anyway, that's the stream. We did that in just under an hour. So if you stuck around for all that, good job. If not, it is what it is. Hope you enjoy. If you have stuck around, I'll be back eventually with another video and probably showcasing the Shield Maiden. There you go. See you next time.